Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Training Industry Learning Tech Showcase AI and Training, sponsored by Big Tin Can, CGS Immersive, Corporate Visions, Skooks, and the Regis Company. So I am Liz Spate, the Events Marketing Specialist here at Training Industry, and I'm thrilled to have you with us here today. Before we get started, though, as always, I would like to go over a few housekeeping items to help you interact with our speakers and get the most out of today's program. So if you haven't done so already, let's open up those chat windows and let us know where you are joining us from today. As mentioned, it is very rainy here in Raleigh, North Carolina. I see it is Maryland as well. I don't hate a rainy day though, but while you're doing this, please use this chat window to interact with our speaker for any comments as well as questions. We will be addressing those questions throughout the session during some Q&A breaks, so keep those questions coming as we go through this demo. And at the end of your time here with us, you will notice a short evaluation survey popped open in another tab in your browser. We would appreciate to hear your thoughts on today's event. And all of our sessions are being recorded and archived on trainingindustry.com, and you will receive a follow-up email from us that will include the link to the on-demand session for you to share with your team. If this is your first Training Industry event, we would love to welcome you. We exist to make connections among learning and development professionals, and we offer tons of resources to support your role in L&D, like live events like today's Learning Tech Showcase, as well as through articles on our website, our magazine, conferences, research report, our membership, and our podcast. We would also love to hear about what you've learned from today's session on social media, so please follow us on your favorite platforms and let's continue that conversation. And without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce you to our first speaker of the day. John Case is the Program Delivery and Operations Director at CGS Immersive. And with that, John, take it away.
Thank you so much, Liz. I really appreciate that. I hope you folks are able to hear me okay. I saw a few folks were joining from Wisconsin. I had the privilege of spending the first half of this week in Appleton, and I'm on my way back to New Brunswick, where CGS Immersive is based today. I want to thank our friends at Training Industry for giving us this opportunity to be here. I will say it's been a very welcoming and supportive experience. If you've ever considered giving one of these presentations at Training Industry but haven't taken the plunge yet, it'd be physically impossible for me to recommend it highly enough. It's been a very great experience so far. So I am going to share here, and normally I have a couple of screens on the go. I'm on a laptop today, so if you do see me struggling with technology, I want you to know that's free entertainment for you. We will do our best. So right now you should see a presentation screen. Bear with me a moment here.
Looks beautiful.
Thanks, Liz. Um, so I'm from CGS Immersive. My name is John. We are a relatively new company in a sense. CGS Immersive is an extended reality solutions provider. We work in virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, and AI. But we are backed by CGS Learning's 20 plus years in the industry. We have been helping some of the world's largest companies solve their complex problems, everything from building out a couple of courses to help them upskill on a specific need or a specific use case, all the way to entire blended learning transformations that help them get their people to competency in half the time at a third of the cost, and anything in between. And the Cicero product that we're going to look at today is one of those somewhere in betweens, right? So I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about CGS today. I would encourage you folks at the end of the presentation, there's going to be a QR code up at the screen. You can just hold your phone up, and that will take you to a link to our book a demo screen so we can have a meet and greet or a deeper dive to talk about how we might be able to work together to help you. I do think it's important to say, though, that we are ISO 27001 and SOC 2 Type 2 certified. And we're in the process of seeking our ISO 42001 AI safety certification as well. So your data is safe with us. We take security extremely seriously. In the industry that we're in and the verticals that we work in, data security and privacy is one of the most important things to manage through, and we do take that very seriously. We work in GxP compliant environments. We work in heavily regulated industries like biomedical and finance, and we're great integrators. And all of that is to say, if you want to work with us, however you want to work with us, we're going to be able to make that work. So again, at the end, you're going to see a QR code. If you see something in this presentation that you think might be able to help you or your partners or your businesses, we will be able to we'll be able to meet afterwards and go through those use cases. So sometimes you're going to have a conversation that you're not prepared for. Someone on your team will. Maybe you haven't seen that kind of a challenge before. Maybe you've never sold that product before. Maybe you're new to your team. Maybe you're new to your role. Maybe you've moved up and now you're having to deal with things that you didn't have to deal with before. Well, in business, one of the most important things that we can do is communicate. It gets more complicated when you don't have that confidence, when you don't have that background or that strong footing yet. What if you had a trusted expert that you could always ask how to plan and prepare for these conversations? And on top of that, what if, in addition to that trusted expert, you had a place where you could practice these conversations in a safe way, where you could make your bumbles, make your stumbles, make your mistakes, learn how to grow from them before you take those conversations out into the real world so that you can deliver when the time comes? We assume that when a company's onboarding a new salesperson, they're probably going to burn their first few prospects. Maybe they'll get lucky, but generally speaking, we expect they're going to burn their first few prospects. We expect that new managers are probably going to botch the first couple of performance reviews or difficult conversations. We expect that a new recruiter probably going to mishandle the first several screenings that they have to do. So what do? Well, we tell them, it gets easier. You'll get used to it. You got to practice. If you want to make an omelet, you've got to break a couple of eggs. Well, what if it didn't have to be that way? We know that we can practice soft skills effectively with role playing, but the quality of role playing can be very uneven. If you've got a great trainer, you might get a great experience. If you've got a poor trainer, well, you might have a poor experience. If you have a group that's not very very participatory, well, then you're going to get poor results as well. Maybe you're lucky and you've got a drama school kid in your class and you're going to have a great role playing experience. But what if it didn't have to be that way? What we're suggesting today is to stop burning those first conversations by practicing with role play first in Cicero. What if we could upskill our soft skills in real time and prepare and practice for those conversations in real time? You think about what poor communication costs. 92% of business leaders say that soft skills, communications, and critical thinking is more important than technical skills. That might be hard to believe, but if we consider that we've built an entire school and education system around hard skills and technical skills that sort of discount soft skills, it becomes a little bit easier to take that into focus. So it's on us at the corporate level to bring soft skills to the field. 86% of employees and execs cite a lack of effective collaboration and communication as the main cause of workplace failures. Think about your projects that have run sideways. Think about times that you were pretty sure that you'd told somebody something that they needed to know and they just didn't quite get it. You communicated it to them, but you couldn't understand it for them. Well, maybe you didn't communicate it for them all that effectively. And then to top that off, only 35% of organizations are offering some kind of soft skills training. That means 65% of organizations have their folks just out here winging it. You think about all of that and what that's got to cost, right? What does that cost your business? What does that cost the economy? Well, if you guessed $160 billion, that's what the human and soft skills gap costs the United States economy annually. Now, you're here at an AI presentation. A lot of what we're talking about today is soft skills. Maybe you're taking the leap. Maybe you're already down the road a little bit. Maybe you already knew how impactful the soft skills gap was. Well, that's fantastic. And if you just learned this today, well, then congratulations. You're here for the good stuff. I want to talk a little bit about sort of what Cicero is and how Cicero can be deployed in your organization. Just a couple of minutes. Then I'm going to demonstrate the prepare to practice pipeline that we talked about at the top of the presentation, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about deployment, and then I'm going to open the field up for questions. So what is Cicero? Well, Cicero is an entirely self-managed platform that you can implement in your organization or your enterprise right now. Cicero allows you to build realistic personas. We use a five-factor personality model. We're going to dive into that a little bit more after we see the presentation. So you can make, unlike other AIs, you can make these people abrasive, you can make them visionary, you can make them waffling and hard to move to a decision. So you can tune the personas to the specific use case that you want. Scenarios are entirely customizable. Using our AI tools inside the Cicero platform, you take a Word document or a few PDFs, you drop them in as training materials, and then from there you can build out a role-playing scenario or a knowledge coach or a learning assessment in the space of about 15 minutes. From there, you hit a button and it's published out to and assigned to anyone that you have assigned in your organization, or it's published to a public link so that you can send it out through email, put it in a PDF, put it in a job aid, put it in your intranet or your portal. And on the back side of all of that, you get a full evaluation that walks you through your strengths, your weaknesses, your areas for opportunity. And that evaluation is available to your managers, to your trainers, and there's a full reporting console as well. Well, that's all wonderful. So let's take a look at that. First, we're going to see a coaching experience. Then we're going to practice the conversation with an AI avatar. Then we're going to see our evaluation, and then from there, you would go out into the field and you would have these conversations with the confidence that you've been able to practice it, gotten over some of these pitfalls. We have seen in A/B testing, particularly in telecom, that offers on trouble calls and second offers after a rejection increase anywhere between 25 to 30%, and that's driving significant increases in sales. Another similar group, the learners who were trained with Cicero in their training versus the ones who didn't, reported a 92% confidence rate coming out of training, um, walking into these sorts of conversations that they were going to have to manage. So our scenario today is a telecom scenario. We are going to first ask a couple of questions about how to approach our prospect, and then we're going to have that conversation with our prospect. Now, I am going to stop sharing at this point because the demos were popping up awkwardly. So just bear with me a moment, and I am going to reshare. And see, I told you if you were going to watch me struggle with technology at all, that was just free entertainment. So what you should see now is a Microsoft Edge window running Cicero. Somebody give me a thumbs up.
Perfect.
Wonderful news. All right. And I am going to launch this. If you can't hear it, okay, just let me know right away. So every conversation, whether it's a coach or a role play, starts with a disclaimer to let you know that there's going to be AI used in the experience that you're about to have. We've been through a number of AI council and AI review boards with various partners, and we consistently come out as low risk because of the way we've structured the back end of the system and because of the way that we're using learning principles and best practices to make sure that people know what they're getting into. So I'm going to launch. It takes a moment to load up. So in the back end of the system is all of the documents, all of the information you have about your.
Hi, I can help you prepare to sell SDY1. Tell me a bit about your prospect and what you know so far, and I'll support you any way that I can.
So it pulls up all of that information and loads it all into the system. And one of the very best things, it only knows the information that you've given it. So you put your own documents in. If something changes, you remove that document. It doesn't know that anymore. You put in the new version of the document. It's instantly updated. So it's not going out to the internet. You don't have to train it and then untrain it after the fact. It's instantly pulling out the new information. So James is here. James is going to help us sell SD1 to our prospect. Hey James, I'm sort of new to selling the SD-WAN and the small and medium-sized business vertical. I have a prospect, seems like a pretty good prospect, They're a small real estate agency. They'd like to become a medium-sized real estate agency. They're in one city right now, and they're moving into a couple of different cities and opening new offices. So their IT needs are getting a lot more complicated. They're already a business internet customer, but what are some discovery questions that I can ask that would help me position our solution as the best bet for them?
That's a great opportunity to help them scale their business. Here are a few discovery questions you could ask to uncover their pain points and position SD-WAN as a strong solution. One, how are you currently managing connectivity and security between your different offices and remote employees? Two, with your growth into new cities, how important is it for you to have centralized control over network policies across all locations? Three, are you experiencing any challenges with performance or reliability when accessing cloud-based applications from different offices? Four, how critical is it that your network can automatically prioritize traffic for key applications, such as virtual tours or video calls with clients? Five, as you expand, do you have concerns about quickly setting up new offices with reliable connectivity without needing a large on-site IT presence? These questions will help you pinpoint their challenges and show how SD-WAN can give them centralized control, flexibility, and cost-efficient scalability as they grow. Would you like to dive deeper into how SD-WAN addresses some of these specific needs?
These are great. I know that remote work is probably going to be a concern for them because the real estate agents that kind of work out of their cars and coffee shops and wherever else they happen to be. And I think that the question about being able to scale without needing an on-site IT presence is going to be big. I know they've only got something like one administrator. If they do say that they're concerned about scaling without needing a large on-site presence, what are some questions I can ask, or how would I approach that to dive deeper?
Absolutely. If they express concern about scaling without needing a large on-site IT presence, you can dig deeper to highlight the benefits of SD-WAN's centralized management and automation. Here are a few follow-up questions you could ask. One, how much time does your current IT administrator spend managing or troubleshooting the network at your different locations? Two, what's your process for setting up and securing connectivity when you open a new office or bring on a new remote agent? Three, are you looking for a solution that lets you make network changes or updates across multiple locations with a single click? Four, how important is it for you to have visibility into network performance and traffic without sending someone on site? Five, if something goes down at a remote site, how quickly can you resolve the issue today? And would having automated failover or remote management help? Once you get their answers, you can position our SD-WAN solution as a way to simplify network management, quickly deploy new
James,
locations,
could
and
you talk to me just high level, a couple of points about the centralized console?
of course, at a high level, one of the key strengths of our SD-WAN solution is the centralized intelligent console. Here are a couple of key points. One, centralized policy management. It lets you manage all your locations from one single interface. The rules prioritize certain applications like video calls or deploy new policies. You can do that across every office instantly. No need to manage each site separately.
That's
Two,
perfect,
real-time
James.
visibility
Thank
and
you. I
control.
think I've got what I
You'll
need
gain
for right
full
now.
visibility into your network's performance.
James, thank you. I think I've got what I need for right now. I'm gonna roll with this. I've got that call coming up in like 2, 3 minutes. I'll let you know how it went. So James here is a wonderful help. One of the best things is that you can kind of interrupt them in the middle. If you've gotten what you need, as you can see, it comes up on the screen afterwards. So if you can read faster than James can talk, even though he's got a soothing voice and he really helps me to feel more comfortable, you can just move on and ask them a new question. They'll keep reacting and responding. And everything that we just looked at was publicly available information. None of that was proprietary. So we got no worries there. So now I'm about to go into this conversation with this managing broker at a real estate agency. I'm going to ask some questions to try to determine if this solution is the right fit for them, and then see if I can get them to move towards taking more information or another conversation. We'll see how I do. If I'm not able to sell her in the time that we have available, we'll just end the conversation so that we can see the evaluation screen and then move on. Again, you see that disclaimer. Now, when it's a scenario, um, we let it know that it can analyze we let you know that we can analyze facial expressions to evaluate your emotional performance. That can be turned on or off. Not everybody wants that. Not everyone requires that. But if you do, that option's there. It also tests your microphone so that you don't get in there and have to fumble with your technology. And before we get into there, it told us a little bit about the scenario, so you, as somebody who's going in to do this, knows what you're
Hello,
getting
I'm
into.
thrilled to meet with you today. As we expand our real estate operations, I'm eager to explore innovative IT solutions that can support our growth and enhance our efficiency.
Hey, Teresa, thanks for taking the time to meet with me today. I do really appreciate it. You've historically been a good customer across the different markets that you're in, and as you're expanding, I think we're going to need to take a look at how we might be able to help you more. So you're moving up to a couple of new locations, as I remember from our discovery conversation. Tell me a little bit about what your concerns are or your pain points are as you scale.
Thank you for joining me today. As we expand into new locations, my primary concerns revolve around ensuring seamless integration of our IT systems and maintaining robust security measures across all offices. It's crucial for us to have a network solution that supports our operations without causing disruptions. Additionally, I'm keen on finding a cost-effective solution that aligns with our budget while delivering high value. What can you offer that addresses these needs?
So it sounds like budget and cost reductions or keeping those lower in line is important to you, and that tracks with us. I imagine then that you'd probably have some concerns around having to scale up your IT department as you move to multiple locations.
Absolutely. Scaling up our IT department is a concern. We want to ensure that our team can manage the network effectively without feeling overwhelmed by complexity. It's important that any solution we choose is user-friendly and doesn't require us to significantly expand our IT resources. How does Comcast address this potential complexity?
Well, thanks, Teresa. I'm glad that you asked that. So we have a management portal for the network that anyone, you don't need to be an IT professional. Anyone with anyone in admin in your organization can log into this portal. You get real-time statistics, real-time data. You can make changes with a click. Having this portal means you can change your network parameters, give people more bandwidth, less bandwidth, set up automatic and remote failovers. It's really intuitive, it's easy to use, and we have an onboarding program to help anyone get up to speed on it.
That sounds promising. Having a user-friendly management portal would definitely help alleviate concerns about complexity and make it easier for our team to handle network management. The onboarding program is a great addition, ensuring that everyone can get up to speed quickly. This aligns well with our need for a cost-effective and manageable solution. How does this fit into the overall cost structure?
Well, I'm pleased to say that this remote management portal just comes with the solution. There's no additional charge for that. If you become a customer, that is part of the deal, and actually, it's one of the most important parts of the deal. So tell me, I imagine that you probably have some concerns around how to manage remote workers because your real estate agents aren't sitting in the offices. They're out making deals, showing homes, showing business spaces. How do you manage that right now?
Currently, we rely on a mix of mobile solutions and remote access tools to keep our agents connected and productive while they're on the go. However, as we expand, ensuring consistent and secure access to our network for remote workers is becoming increasingly important. We need a solution that can support our agents wherever they are, without compromising on security or performance. How does Comcast's solution address the needs of remote workers?
Well, Teresa, it uses multiple network zones. It uses firewalls and login and automatic failovers to balance traffic across the network and to make sure that when people are accessing your systems from remote systems, that is secure and that they're protected behind a VPN.
That sounds like a robust approach to ensuring security and performance for our remote workers. Having multiple network zones and VPN protection would certainly help maintain the integrity of our data and keep our agents connected securely. This aligns well with our need for robust security measures across all locations. How quickly can this be set up to ensure minimal disruption to our operations?
I'm happy to say that it could be set up very rapidly. We have on-premises and cloud-based solutions. I think probably at this stage, the best thing to do would be if I could come on site with you with one of our solutions architects. We could talk about what you need from a hardware standpoint and pricing, and then if that makes sense, we could move forward. Do you think we could set up a time for me to come on site?
That sounds like a great next step. Having a solutions architect on site to discuss our specific needs and explore hardware options would be very beneficial. Let's go ahead and schedule a time for your visit so we can move forward with this process efficiently.
So I was able to use some of the points that James gave me and the discovery questions that James gave me to sort of dig into what Teresa needed, and we were able to move her along to an on-site visit. Now, Teresa is set up to be fairly conciliatory and safe for work. You can turn off safe for work. You can make these people as hard to deal with as you want, just depending on your use case. So we'll take a look at the evaluation. Takes about 30 seconds to load up this. So while the conversation is going on, another AI actor is watching the conversation on both sides to determine how you're doing, how they're doing, how you're addressing the evaluation criteria that you've set up, because you, as a business or a learning team, decide what evaluation criteria matter to you in the scenario. And then at the end, you get an evaluation that gives you a score and walks you through some key areas of focus so that you can improve. Now, if you do very poorly, you're going to see a lot of red on the screen. It's going to give you a lot of opportunities for improvement. And what we suggest and how people are using this is you go through, you get your evaluation, you see how you did, and then you go back in and you try to improve your performance based on the feedback that you got. So 5 minutes and 43 seconds. My sentiment was positive, 9 out of 10. Gives you some observations, so demonstrated a strong understanding, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's room for improvement in providing more detailed examples and exploring alternative solutions. So that's a takeaway that I would have there. Um, I was able to hit all of the features and benefits points for this evaluation, not surprisingly because I made them. And then under accuracy, I got a 9 out of 10, problem solving an 8 out of 10, clarity of communication at a 7 out of 10. So let's see what it thinks I could have done better there. Try to minimize filler words, well, I'm guilty of that, and hesitation to enhance the clarity and confidence of your communication. Ensure that your responses are concise. I have never been accused of being concise before, so that tracks as well. And under emotional intelligence, I should try to express more understanding of Teresa's emotions. Consider using more emotionally engaging language. And then another bit of secret sauce that we have here in the mix is this truth and reconciliation module. If you make a claim that it thinks is false or that it can't verify, it will annotate in the conversation transcript where that happened, and it will give you a note on it based on the information there. In a lot of industries, particularly heavily regulated industries, honesty is paramount. And if you give inaccurate information, that's kind of the end of the road for you. So this is really, really important when practicing, and you as a training manager or supervisor, et cetera, can see what your people are saying. So I'm going to stop this share, and we are getting close to time. Um, Give me just half a moment here. I'm going to reshare the deck as soon as I find it. There we go. So you should be seeing the prepare to practice pipeline. Jump ahead a little bit. So again, we talked about choosing personas and the 5-factor personality model. We talked about the comprehensive reporting and how you see those evaluations, the accuracy, facial expression analysis. Talking about adoption, we set up a workshop with our team. Our experts in CSMs will work with your team. You'll establish some points of contact people, and then we work with you over several weeks to get this implemented. You should be up and running within the first several days, and you should be pretty solid at deploying your own scenarios within a couple of weeks. And then we monitor and help evaluate from there. That's what we call the Cicero Launchpad. It's a proven framework. We have a number of partners. We've only been in market since April, and we've brought on a lot of very large companies, some of whom are now using this in a healthcare setting to greet patients and donors when they first walk in. So again, we did promise a QR code. The Cicero platform allows you to prepare, to practice, to build knowledge coaches. You can use coaches to help with sales scenarios. You can load all the standard operating procedures for your company into them so that somebody can go in and ask how to do anything that they might need to do. And I would be happy to talk to you about how you can implement those use cases in your business at a later date. Just hold your phone up to that QR code and book a demo. And Liz did promise that when I saw her come back on camera, that meant I was out of time. So unfortunately, we won't be able to take questions. But I would be happy to follow up your questions on LinkedIn by email or in a meeting at a later time.
I was gonna say Carmen has been a rock star in the chat as well. So there was a good amount of questions. You were talking about some really cool stuff, so you probably will have a full inbox after this. But thank you so much, John. Is there anything else you would like to leave with the audience today before I steal the screen and let them know how to go to our next session?
No, thank you for the time and attention, everybody. I hope to meet some of you after the fact. Thank you, Carmen, for managing those questions while I was being derelict, and thank you, Liz, for the opportunity today and all the help you provided us.
Of course. Thank you for your team. I appreciate it. I am going to steal that screen. So if you hadn't scanned the QR code, we will be sending the deck out later. So do not worry about that. But thank you so much, everybody. So everyone else, we're going to take about a 14-ish so minute break. Up next, we do have Tim Reister joining us from Corporate Visions for their session, AI Coaching in the Human Edge, How Enablement Leaders Can Drive Revenue in the Age of Machines. So in just a moment, I will end this session. You can join our next session by returning to the event lobby and then going to that session tab. So please stick around for our next session, which will begin soon. See you soon, everybody.